Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Point Predictor, the series where I choose 5 players that I think will avoid blanks in the upcoming FPL Gameweek. Within these predictions, I can only choose one player per club, and I must follow the categories shown on screen. Before looking at my predictions for Game Week 5, let's see how the players I chose from last week performed. So, just the 2 out of 5 correct picks last week, with Alexander-Arnold getting an assist and a clean sheet, and the in-form Haller scoring another goal for West Ham. It was a first blank of the season for Timo Pukki though, and surprisingly, it was also a first blank for Raheem Sterling at home to Brighton. My captain, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move on to Game Week 5 now, and see if I can do a bit better for the upcoming weekend. And if you enjoy the Point Predictor series, be sure to drop a like on the video and most importantly get subscribed to FPL TV. My defensive option this game week sees me stick with last week's choice, Alexander-Arnold. With Newcastle visiting Anfield this week, you'd fancy them to come there with a game plan to sit back and frustrate. So although they could be difficult to break down, it's unlikely they'll offer much attacking threat, and therefore it's the clean sheet that I'm banking on for the Reds in Game Week 5. This means the likes of Robertson, Van Dijk and even Matip should also be good shouts this week. But I've stuck with Trent due to his far superior attacking stats in the opening 4 games, which gives him the slight edge over his teammates. His opponents Newcastle have only scored 3 goals so far this season, a tally worsened only by bottom of the league Watford. What's worse is that they currently sit bottom for big chances on 3 and also have the lowest XG in the league according to Opta data. Not promising stats for the Toon, and therefore getting a goal here does seem a mammoth task. My budget midfield option in Game Week 5, under the price of 8 million, goes to Everton's Richarlison. This was a very difficult choice this week, with both Daniel James and Mason Mount seeming like perhaps the more sensible of predictions. Both of these players look excellent picks, but I've selected the Brazilian on more of a gut feeling. Everton did start the season as very goal shy, only managing to score 1 in the opening 3 games. But that changed dramatically in Game Week 4, with the Toffees putting in an impressive 3-goal display against Wolves. And this coincided with both Moise Kean and Iwobi starting for them, which looks to have significantly boosted their confidence. Richarlison bagged a brace in Game Week 4, his first goals of the campaign, and he is known to be a confidence player, so could those 2 goals be the start of a small purple patch for the Brazilian? Ultimately, I simply trust the Bournemouth defence a lot less than I do Wolves and Leicester, and that's why I've chosen Richarlison over the likes of Mount and James this week. My any-priced midfielder this game week goes to Arsenal's Nicolas Pepe. This is a selection based very much on the opponent, with Watford having a torrid time of things in the opening 4 game weeks. The Hornets have conceded 8 goals so far this season, and what's interesting is that 6 of these have come at home in just the 2 games they've played there, shipping 3 against Brighton on the opening day before then conceding 3 goals to West Ham in Game Week 3. So, with Watford currently sat bottom of the league, and given their shocking defensive performances, you'd fancy Arsenal scoring a few on their visit to Vicarage Road, and with Pepe's promising underlying numbers, he's a player that does look due for a goal. Impressively, in the last 2 game weeks, which are the only weeks the Ivorian has started, Nicolas Pepe has actually had the joint most goal attempts of any player in the league, equal to Firmino and 2 more than the prolific Aguero. Granted, he may not have scored yet, but these 2 games were against Liverpool and Spurs, so now in a seemingly easier fixture, can the winger finally get his first goal for the club? My budget forward option this week, below the price of 8 million, goes to Callum Wilson. At the start of the season, having been priced bang on 8 million, selecting Callum Wilson in the budget category wasn't an option for the Point Predictor. However, with him dropping 0.2 million in the last few weeks, it now allows me to select him for Game Week 5 at home to Everton. The surprising thing about Wilson dropping in price is that he's one of only a handful of players left to have returned points in every single game so far. Fair enough, they may not have been big returns, with him delivering 5 points apiece every game, but he's certainly been consistent, which makes him seem a reliable choice for this week's predictions. The Cherries have only managed to score 5 goals so far this season, a slightly underwhelming tally. but Wilson has had a hand in 4 of them with a goal and 3 assists. Therefore, with a goal involvement of 80%, if they are to score against Everton, Wilson is likely to be involved again. My forward of any price this game week has to go to Sergio Aguero. Norwich have conceded 10 goals in the opening 4 games, the worst offensive record to date, and they now host Man City, who unsurprisingly boast the league's best attacking stats so far, with an exceptional 14 goals in just 4 game weeks. Notably, the Canaries also bemoan an array of defensive injuries heading into this game, with the likes of Max Aarons, Grant Hanley, Ben Godfrey and Tom Trybull all doubts to make this one. No matter how you look at it, it just feels that Man City will surely put a few goals past Norwich in Game Week 5, and with Aguero currently scoring in every single game week so far, he's a hard man to bet against. Between him, De Bruyne and Sterling, it's very difficult to say who will turn out to be the highest point scorer in Game Week 5. But with the Argentinian frontman having an extended rest during the internationals, you'd have to argue he's the safest to start the game, and therefore he gets my vote this week. And that wraps up my point predictor picks for Game Week 5. With Wilson, Richarlison and Pepe all below 10% ownership, there's a few differentials amongst the ranks this week, so hopefully they don't let me down too much. If you enjoyed the video, be sure as always to get subscribed to FPL TV. You can also hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Good luck to all of you for Game Week 5, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all very soon.